Hello trainers, Kaneto here, and today we are diving together into Open Great League for the new season with my best teams to showcase just for you. So we're gonna have tons of action today with 5 teams in total. We're gonna analyze the best and strongest assets of those teams, and of course we're also gonna analyze their core breakers, hence their drawbacks that they're gonna have against the meta. And I think that these teams are gonna have the minimal amount of drawbacks so that you can have a clear understanding of the meta and of course how to use your teams effectively. So starting off with the first team here, we got the Basildon, the Medicham and the Trevenant. Sounds like a bad joke, a start of a bad joke, but this team is working pretty nicely individually with a very nice strategy. You need to go with the aggressive switch on your Medi in order to draw out the opposing side's flyer, most probably the Noctowl, because no debuffs or nerfs were made on this season for the Lantern and Noctowl cores, so we're gonna see Noctowls and Lanterns pretty much everywhere. This team is gonna work just fine if you can bait out the Noctowl with your Medicham and then leave aside the room for your Trevenant in order to sweep. I think that sweeping is gonna be pretty easy if you get that Noctowl out of the way. A lot of trainers are gonna use it up in front so that your Basildon is gonna have the upper hand overall, so you can see as to why this team can work well against the current meta of Great League. A solid core breaker that I have found is gonna be the Scrafty, and I think that this one is gonna be just troublesome if you encounter it up in front. At the back, even against Revenant, you're still gonna be able to go pretty rough at it, but if you have your Medicham over that Scrafty, well, the match is already over for them. If you happen to encounter the Scrafty up in front, I suggest that you safe switch in there your Trevenant and not your Medicham, because you want to keep your Medi as your closer for that particular scenario, because as soon as they see the switch, they're most likely gonna protect their Scrafty just to keep it ahead of your Basildon, and that is gonna be kinda problematic for the end game. But still, you're gonna see that the backline, even the Trevenant, can still work well even against a threat like Scrafty, and that's why Trevenant is still the best closer in the game. Doesn't matter at all what it faces, it still has a lot of play against anything. Noctowl is a beast currently for the Open Great League, so here it is in the next team showcase. We're gonna have it here as a closer, while as a safe switch we're gonna keep the Sableye. I like Sableye here because it can definitely go in, have a lot of neutral matchups, and even against Noctowl, well, it is gonna be ghost type while Noctowl is gonna be part normal. Well, you can still pressure a lot with those returns or a potential double foul play, which is always gonna be pretty nice, so that's why this team is gonna work pretty fine. It has 3 whole generalists that can absolutely destroy down the enemy with the spamminess, the pressure, and of course the amount of the coverage matchups that they have towards and throughout the entire meta of Great League. I really like here the Stunfisk up in front. I think that it's gonna work a lot against certain threats, but at the back the Noctowl is definitely the best closer and the safest pick of them all, while the safe switch on the face of Sableye can always be used to draw out something like a Lantern so that you can have a better matchup towards the end of the battle. Core breaker of this line, kinda soft of course, is gonna be the Swampert. Definitely Stunfisk does not like this threat, while at the back it can still beat down those two. However, it still needs a lot of shield to do so, and in combination with a little bit of pressure, I think that even Swampert cannot withstand the damage and the generalist coverage that this team provides. So I think that you're gonna be just fine in general with this amount of generalists that you have on your team, and you are gonna have a lot of solid wins to start off the new season. Now we're gonna talk about a team that is gonna work pretty well even against its worst counters, and that is gonna be with the Medicham, the Altaria, and the Registeel. The main reason for that is gonna be the bulk. This team can definitely withstand the damage while it can still pressure with those fast attacks, and of course Registeel mainly with its charge attacks. But of course the energy is gonna be crucial for this team in order to succeed. I really like Medicham for the lead. You can see that even Ninetales cannot stop it down. You can still pressure even the charm version for the psychic, for the double nuke against it, and they cannot withstand it at all. Even against Trevenant, the battle will be played pretty much like this. they still need to land that Shadow Ball if they want to have any chance against you, and even if they do, you still have the Altaria coming in pretty clutch. I really like Ice Punch on the Medi, and of course Psychic is gonna help you a lot against other threats, so do not run something like a Dynamic Punch or a Power Punch. You are not gonna need that all, just the regular moveset for the Open Great League, Ice Punch and Psychic, and you're gonna be just fine most of the times. At the back we have two of the greatest, bulkiest Pokemon on Great League, and that's gonna be the Registeel, the all-time classic with Zap Cannon and Focus Blast. While Flash Cannon can be used for Spice, but I do not recommend at all. Just feel free to go with that Zap Cannon and the Focus Blast, and you're gonna be on a very good spot to win most of your matches with Registeel as your safe switch. With Reggie coming in pretty clutch, that will leave some room aside, especially if you can get some shields with your Reggie, and keep those shields for the end game of yours, with the closer being the Altaria. Altaria definitely gonna pressure a lot with those Dragon Breaths, and of course the Sky Attack can be used as your main charge attack. If you want the second one, feel free to unlock it for just 10,000 Stardust. Finally, I said that, totally lost my words there, and you're gonna be needing for sure the Dragon Pulse. Otherwise, if you have that legacy one from the community day move, Moonblast is gonna be your main way to go, while Sky Attack is gonna be your main priority as your charge attack. Moonblast will be used for coverage, especially against a dark type threat, or actually only a dark type threat, and that is gonna be something like a Scrafty or an Umbreon, but against Crafty, yeah, even Sky Attack will do just fine. This team is working pretty well individually only because of its bulk, and as we have already said, the insane pressure that it does to the opponent, mainly because of the counter damage. Up in front encounter is one of the best moves that you can use. Now we're gonna take a look at an all-time classic team of Great League, and that is gonna be the Skarmory, the Swampert, and the Drapion line. This team is gonna apply a lot of pressure with its charge attacks. Most likely you're gonna get some shields, at least one, with your Skarmory and your Drapion, while your Swampert at the back will remain with two shields and the sweep against the enemy with a shield advantage, and I think that the Shadow backline here is gonna be extremely clutch. If you do not have a Shadow Swampert, well, it is not the end of the world, but I think for Drapion you definitely need the Shadow Drapion, because then you're gonna do much more damage than usual, and against critical matchups, something like an Altaria, a Skarmory, or even a Medicham, you can still two-shot them down with your crunches if you are fast enough, and Shadow Drapion is perhaps the best safe switch in the game currently. So Skarmory able to do a lot of work with its defensive typing, resisting pretty much most of the types that exist in Go Battle League, and the closer of your line is gonna be the amazing Swampert. Once again, if you don't have a Shadow, it's not the end of the world, but Shadow is gonna help a little bit more. Earthquake is gonna be your main charge attack for anything neutral, while Hydro Cannon will be used for spam and to bring to no HP certain opponents, something like a Stunfisk, something like a Bastion. Just go with those Hydro Cannons, you are not gonna regret it, even against a Medicham, and this move, especially when it comes out from a Shadow Swampert, is not gonna be appreciated by the opponent. As a core breaker, I have here the Bastion, only because it's gonna be a problem up in front, but other than that, I think you're gonna be just fine with this team, which is kinda soft but still pretty cool offensively and extreme spammy. Into the final one, everyone, and we're having a familiar team like before, but this time we're gonna replace the Sableye with a Lantern. This team is super good. Once again, you got 3 generalists, but this time we're gonna have a different safe switch, and that's gonna be the Lantern instead of the Sableye. Well, you can always use as a safe switch here the Noctowl. I think it might work actually better now that I'm seeing it, but overall Lantern is still gonna be a very good option. Even against Trevenant, those double Thunderbolts can always threat it, so they have to spare some energy pretty fast if they want to finish you off right on time. Trevenant up in front can be pretty troublesome, but still you can easily finish it off with your Noctowl if you get the alignment correctly, or if you want to stay in with your Stunfisk, and those back-to-back rock slides can still threat the Trevenant to use some shields, while your backline will be kinda safe for the end game. Core breaker of this team is gonna be the amazing Vigoroth. Well, this Pokemon will not be around that much. Most people are gonna use even Deoxys or Scrafty or Medicham as their fighters, but even if you counter Vigoroth, well, this one can be a pretty safe option against this team. Bulldoze can definitely break down the Lantern, while counter damage with Bulldoze can do a lot of work offensively and up in front against Stunfisk, and of course the body slam damage can be pretty spammy that eventually will thread down to no HP, even a whole Noctowl, which is pretty bulky for the meta. This team is working pretty well, I really like it a lot. You can always use the Sableye over the Lantern for the first team showcase, but I think here that you're gonna be in a better spot with Lantern as your closer and not the Noctowl that I have added over there. I think that Noctowl is gonna work much better here as a safe switch now that I'm seeing it on a fresh glance, but yeah, totally a very good team overall. And with that said, trainers, I think this is gonna be a wrap for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed. So that's a wrap, everyone. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers.